Simon Told Helen wins a half length. Zach Manelli second.
Welcome to Greyhound Gossip.
Peaky Blinders start cheering for Tommy Shelby wins the WA Sprint Championship final.
Featuring Peter O'Neill.
Mozza moves up to Mermaid Manelli. Fab's Gem 3 deep. Here comes Fab's Gem.
Hard style Rico by 5 lengths to Simon Told Helen. Third Tommy Shelby.
This segment is dedicated to the discussion and promotion of greyhound racing.
Cindy's Oliver, Rockstar Patriot, Paul Stewart, back to back with Rockstar Patriot in the Galaxy.
Handsome Prince, a Boulder Clear, the former Tasmanian. Handsome Prince has won the $1 million chase.
Race 6. Racing. Flying out all over Carja, Sunset Bubbles, Sunset Nightjar, Spooky Hook, Sunset Peppy, Water Ripper wide. 7th is Lip Tricks, Last Spider Venom. Leader Sunset Bubbles, Spooky Hook the rail, wide out Sunset Peppy. Lip Tricks running on, then Spider Venom. Spooky Hook dashed away from Sunset Peppy. Lip Tricks late, but Spooky Hook wins the shorts. Second, Sunset Peppy. Third, Sunset Bubbles. Fourth, a photo. Lip Tricks.
Very good morning, everyone, and welcome along to Greyhound Gossip. And that was Friday night down at Mandurah and the running of the Greyhounds WA, the shorts final, and a brilliant victory by Spooky Hawk, who began well, settled just off the pace and then was too strong over the concluding stages for Andrew McLaren, a greyhound who's now won at his last 3 and takes his stake earnings to in excess of $40,000. So the WA bred chaser doing very, very well in the final of the shorts. That was Friday night, and then on Saturday night we had the final of the Distance Potential. Ready, racing. Molfetta Cruz musters up on the inside. The favourite's going to lead past the judge. Carter Axelrod works around the outside to second, and a bump there with Molfetta Cruz early, then followed by All About Cole up on the inside. In behind them, Girls Like You. Well back in the field was Blessed Doll along with Timon Lane. Behind them was Pepper Grinder and Yamasaki Bale. Molfetta Cruz shot away down the back, out by 8 lengths on All About Cole, then followed by Carter Axelrod. Girls Like You, Molfetta Cruz. Can he keep going? He's getting tight. He's out by 5. All About Cole within his sights, and then followed by Carter Axelrod in the straight. Molfetta Cruz on fumes up on the inside. All About Cole straight past, wins by 2. Good win by All About Cole. Second goes to Molfetta Cruz. Third across the line, I'd say, was Tim. Yes, All About Cole for trainer Darren Rowe was outstanding in winning the Greyhounds WA Distance Potential final on Saturday night. A greyhound has got a very good strike rate over the distance now as well, and takes his stake earnings to in excess of $65,000. Another WA bred chaser owned by David Hobby, trained by Darren Rowe, and that would be Darren's biggest win in the sport. Unfortunately, he had a busy night in the bakery last night, so he won't be joining us this morning, but we congratulate both Darren and also Andrew McLaren with their feature wins on Friday and Saturday night. Nominations have been extended until 9:45 this morning in regards to the Northern meeting. And, of course, this Thursday, the 1st of August, we have the heats of the WA Sprint Championship for the first time being run up at Northern. There are no heats for the WA Distance Championship. A final 8 will be selected the following Thursday night. Interesting times for the Nationals. Of course, this year they'll be held in Adelaide at Angle Park. There's talk that New Zealand, whether they come across for the Nationals, having some issues in trying to get greyhounds on a plane, as Air New Zealand has stated that they won't be carrying greyhounds across to Australia. I'm not even sure if they're carrying greyhounds within New Zealand because of the antis there. And also the fact of that Greyhounds WA are holding, or RAWA holding, their national series up at Northern this year with the closure of Cannington. But looking forward to getting across to Angle Park. The last time we were there was back in 2016, and the national sprint was South Australian 1.
Away. Now Zambora Brocky left well. So did Wormburner. He's up second. He's charging forward, Wormburner. He's going to find the lead. Wormburner shot away by 2 lengths now. Zambora Brocky second. Out wide on the track, Times Square. Then came behind them Dundee Osprey. Further back is Fabregal. Well back, Ben TK. Further back in the field, Buckle Up Beno. Last outside pass, Wormburner. He's shot clear. He's 5 lengths clear of Zambora Brocky. And it's a hometown victory, all right. Wormburner shot away to win by 6. Second, Zambora Brocky. Third placing, Times Square.
Yes, so Wormburner back in 2016, winning a home state national sprint final. It's always a lot of fanfare and also a lot of state parochialism when it comes to the Nationals, and a man that's seen many, many Nationals over the years is our special guest this morning on Greyhound Gossip, and that is the great man Neil Brown, Hall of Famer. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame last year when the Nationals were held in Melbourne. He's been good enough to give of his time this morning. Brownie, good morning.
Good morning, Pete. Always good to talk to you, mate. It was a very special night for myself and the family last year. And we saw a great series at the Meadows and a fantastic sprint performance by Sage Tenelli for the West Aussies, wasn't it, at the Meadows on that Saturday night, and an even better performance by Palawa King, who came from absolutely nowhere to win the distance. So it was a memorable year, as it always is for Nationals, Pete.
It certainly was. Just on your own award last year and being inducted into the Hall of Fame, which was well-deserved, was that a shock to you? Were you expecting it?
It was an absolute shock, and fantastically well-kept secret by my family and many people that are connected with Sandown Park and indeed around greyhound racing, having been involved with the process since about 2000. I made a suggestion to the Agri Committee at the time, so I've been involved in the selection process for such a long period of time, and I mean it doesn't even enter your mind, so it came as an enormous shock, but a great thrill, and wonderful to share it with my wife and my three kids who were there, being in Melbourne, and of course two wonderful friends of mine got inducted as well, in Jeff Dawson and the great Eddie Caruana. So it was a really special night, Pete.
It certainly was, and that was, of course, held in Melbourne. This year, all eyes will be on South Australia. The heats this week coming up around the country, and New Zealand. Now, what do we make of New Zealand and the reports? Do you have anything further to add in regards to whether New Zealand will be coming across for the Nationals this year?
I did double check this morning, Peter, and likewise I have practically the exact information that you just put across then, and it's just all about getting these possible flights together, which is a pretty sad situation, isn't it, Pete? But they are delighted to be involved, the New Zealanders. They certainly send a contingent of officials across for all the activities off the track, and we've enjoyed their runners being part of it, and so let's hope something can happen there, and we can get the greyhounds to Adelaide. But as far as we know at this stage, still difficulties in the transportation of the greyhounds to South Australia.
What's your favourite national moment besides being inducted into the Hall of Fame last year? What would be your favourite national moment? And you would agree with me. You and I are both AFL football fanatics, so we both enjoyed, the Victoria versus WA and Victoria versus South Australia State of Origin. But this is real State of Origin, isn't it, the Nationals? And while the stake money might not have gone up over the years, there's a lot of trainers, or nearly every trainer around Australia wants to win the prestige of this race.
Well, it is. It has that uniqueness about it, hasn't it, Peter? And it's always had that unique feel about it, that State of Origin. The trainers absolutely love to represent their state, just like footballers or cricketers. They all love to represent the state they live in and grow up in, and it's no different to our trainers. And if they can get a greyhound that can win a national, it means a lot to them. And sometimes, Peter, things are bigger than prize money and mean more. And these are steeped in history. These two events, the sprint and the distance. The distance goes back to 1969, and the sprint goes way back to 1965 at Harold Park when Beth's son won. The first one I saw was at Sandown Park, and it was a little bit from the Western District of Fornival, and Princess Kerry was the winner, and I remember the night very well. I was only a young fella, of course, in those days, Peter, but been lucky enough to go to many of them and seen some of the superstars win. I remember my first visit to the Hobart track, and we saw Miata beat Uma Bale. Now, there's two special distance greyhounds, aren't they, over there? And just some of the terrific greyhounds that have won the race. I remember seeing the mighty West Australian Sandy's me mum come over after winning the Laurels here, coming back and winning the national sprint at Sandown Park in about 1990, I think it was.
Yep.
And some tremendous winners and greyhounds that have gone on and carved out really good careers and won better races. And the West has had a bit of a mortgage on the sprint in the last 3 or 4 years, Pete, haven't they?
Yeah, and it might continue this year, hopefully. Of course, we have seen some outstanding chases. We spoke about Sage to Neil that was successful last year. And then, of course, we were lucky enough to be across you were in Perth in 2019 when Premium Share won, and Weston Augie saluted at your home track at Sandown back in 2018. So we've won 3 of the last 4.
Yes, it's a terrific record. Usually it gets shared around. It has been shared around from all the states have been able to find a winner, and that's good for it as well, and good for the Nationals place where it is on the calendar, as we say. It's been difficult for some of the smaller states to stage the event. It always becomes it's quite a 3 or 4 days of activities, and I can remember when it was when I've been interstate for about a week, Pete. But maybe we went a few days early to enjoy it a bit more back in those days. But it's very special for me. I rekindle friendships that I've been able to be lucky enough to meet people from every state in Australia and become good, solid friends with, and we see them again each year. If we haven't seen them, it's like we've only been a week away. So that's the other special part. I think everybody enjoys the camaraderie of being at the Nationals and the events that are on, and people have a great time, don't they?
They certainly do. So I think they started the National Sprint, you can correct me, 1965, and the Stayers a few years later. As I mentioned before, the stake money's not high in regards to the $1 million races that we have today. But the prestige is there. And when I talk about prestige, you talk about some of the winners of this race, and you're talking about the superstars, aren't you, and the Hall of Famers. You mentioned Sandy's my mum, and it was only a few years ago that we all hailed Fernando Bale, who was successful for Victoria at Wentworth Park back in 2015.
Yeah, what a superstar he was, and, as good a sprinter as I've ever seen, and his record indicates that, doesn't it, Pete? But it was a mighty win. He was well fancied, and he was certainly the best greyhound in the race, and he delivered in a fantastic run. I think he went 29 and 25 or 26. It was a hot run for Wentworth Park, but as we alluded to, some terrific greyhounds over the years. I always remember a terrific distance winner, and I was talking about him only a week or so ago, was Saki Dasher, won for Victoria in 1971, the first time the Nationals were held in Hobart, and over the 737 yards, and it was trained by Bob Pratt. And, of course, the late Bob Pratt was the famous South Melbourne full forward and still holds the 150-goal record. So I knew Bob back in the day, and he loved training greyhounds. And greyhound racing can transcend lots of things and lots of ways of life, doesn't it, Pete? But particularly in the sporting arena and footy and cricket, and there's a lot of guys involved in both. But, yeah, Bobby Pratt, and she was a wonderful little chaser, Saki Dash, a little fawn bitch.
How important, we mentioned the stake money, and how important are the Nationals to continue, in your opinion, due to the fact that we're seeing what we're seeing over in New South Wales and some of the states around Australia at the moment that are going through investigations, the fact that we're having troubles in rehoming greyhounds, the state of greyhound racing at the moment. How important do you see the Nationals continuing?
Oh, look, I think it's vital, Pete, that we're able to get together and talk issues, and we get an opportunity at the symposiums to have a full day of discussions, and each state put forward how they are travelling. And it's fair to say most states are doing it as hard as I can remember. The rehoming issue and safety racing, safe racing is important to all of us, and it always has been. But spotlight on a lot of the states, and we're going for a pretty tough time. Certainly here in Victoria financially, things aren't going terrific, and we've got all sorts of the issues that are affecting the other states, as you say, and particularly in New South Wales and rehoming, and down in Tassie, they're a smaller state doing it pretty tough, aren't they? But the Queenslanders seem to be probably going the best, Pete, aren't they? They're travelling well with terrific prize money, and but again, they had their issues with rehoming, and it's going to be interesting to see how it does unfold. So it is important that we stick together, and the Nationals is able to do that, isn't it?
It certainly is. Probably one of our favourite Nationals was back in 1998, and we had Craig Evans on here on TAB Radio, and also Simo in recent times, Mark Botcher, and also David Short, talking about their favourite moments of greyhound racing in the 50 years that we're celebrating this year in Western Australia. Probably one of our favourite, or the most important races that we saw in Western Australia. We had a champion that went across to Victoria by the name of Regimite and won the first ever shootout, but there was a greyhound race that you came across to in 1998, and it had an outstanding field, and one of the stars of Australian greyhound racing was a greyhound by the name of Rapid Journey.
Championship of Australia, they're ready, racing. Regimite, head bump with Hot Shot out of the start. Els Queen goes straight to the front.
Another Nationals flashback. It was back in 1998 at Cannington when we saw one of the greatest performance ever at the track, when the star Rapid Journey came from last to win.
Out of it, and then Rapid Journey well back, off the back, and Faithful Hawk, the Queenslander, out by 2. Hot Shot got to second, running on Bula Boy, then came Els Queen, followed by Rapid Journey, getting through from Regimite as Faithful Hawk in front, coming after it, Rapid Journey, it's sprinting home brilliantly. Rapid Journey, it hit the front, and Rapid Journey won the national sprint.
Yes, that was back in 1998, Brownie. You were across in Perth at that time. It was an outstanding field, and as we've already discussed, some outstanding winners of the Nationals. On 50 years of greyhound racing, do you remember yourself when greyhound racing first started in WA?
Yes. It's a while ago in the 70s, but I've been able to read and rekindle those memories of Western Australia getting underway, and my very, very first visit, I'll never forget, as you say, it was in 1998, and the first time I'd been to Perth in my life, and to see Rapid Journey win. Talking of Craig Evans, Craig will probably recall it. He and I, when Rapid Journey was inducted into the Hall of Fame in the year 2000 over at Launceston in Tassie, we had Jane Carruthers sign an autographed photo for the pair of Rapid Journey, which is hanging in my office here. So I think Craig will remember getting his copy of the mighty Rapid Journey, which he called the race, of course. And fond memories. And it's a terrific place to go, greyhound racing. In fact, Perth's a wonderful place to do anything if you want to go over there, particularly if you want to go to the cricket or of course, the football, which has always been a pleasure to attend. So, fond memories of 1998. It was a great night. I think that night might have been the first of Sky Racing on television, Peter, as well. I think first time we went nationally around the country on Sky Channel, and Rapid Journey was the headline act, of course, of that broadcast.
Well, there you go. Back in 1998, that's when it all started. The 50 years of WA greyhound racing. You mentioned the great Sandy's mum, the only dual national sprint champion. Who is she, the greyhound that stands out in your opinion as being the number one from WA?
Yes, I would think so. We've got her on the wall of the museum, Pete, so that's important. At Sandown Park, at our museum, there's a terrific photo of Sandy's my mum, and the Nationals being celebrated, the national sprint that she won in 1990 at the track. And she was a wonderful sprinter, high class, very, very difficult to do it 2 years in a row. I think Baronian Blossom may be the only other one, which was a distance greyhound, of course, won it, but it's hard to stay up and be at your peak for 2 years in a row, a full 12 months apart. But she was a superstar, as good as sprinter, along the likes of the Rapid Journeys and the Fernando Bales, the greyhounds we sort of put above, don't we, Pete?
We certainly do. And you've got a web page or a history page on the net, history of greyhound racing, and you recently put up a story about a legend of our sport over here in Western Australia. She's not in WA at the moment. She's travelling overseas with Christine Rabarts, and I speak of Linda Britton, but a very good website that has a lot of history of WA on there.
Yeah, look, it's a bit of a labour of love, Peter. I started during COVID, and it's got a lot of popularity, which I'm really happy about. It'll be there forever. So I just continually add to it, and people send me lots. And since I started, people have sent me some fantastic memorabilia that they found and discovered that they didn't know they had. And it's been fantastic to just keep adding to it and try and cover the whole of Australia. And what a family, the Britons. From Alan and Linda and Jeff and Robert, of course, and now their kids are involved as well. So they've been just a great family of greyhound racing, and none better than Linda as a trainer, Pete. So it was good to highlight her again from her training days.
On a different note, the Phoenix slot applications are now open. The $1 million race that's been going for a number of years, and it's certainly changed the face of greyhound racing, hasn't it? The $1 million chase and also the Phoenix.
Yeah, well, it's different, isn't it? It's always great to come up with new concepts, and New South Wales led the way with a $1 million race. I never thought, probably yourself, but in our lifetime we'd see greyhounds racing for $1 million. So it was pretty special. The Phoenix is a little different. They purchased the slots, of course. I sort of like the $1 million chase where you've got to qualify around country New South Wales and come into the city and make the race final in that way. Phoenix, well, if you pay up, you can get a run and select a greyhound to go in it. So, it's been very popular. It's well received by the general public as well as the greyhound public here, the Phoenix, and it's a race we look forward to. Just about the last major race of the year out there at the Meadows. So it's going well, and. We'll have another $1 million chase winner as well before that. So, I don't think I ever thought I'd see the day when I remember the Melbourne Cup being worth about $20,000, I think, Pete, way back. It was probably less when I first went in 67, so 68. So, I can't even remember what Princess Kerry got for winning the national sprint championship back in 68, but it's phenomenal to think greyhounds can race for $1 million.
It certainly is. Looking forward to catching up with you across at Angle Park in South Australia this year. Brownie, it's only a few weeks away, and of course Victoria and all of the states around Australia, including Western Australia, have their state sprint heats this week, so looking forward to that. The finals next Thursday night, which will be a gala night on Sky Racing and also TAB Radio Racing and Sport. Thanks for joining us. We'll look forward to catching up with you in a couple of weeks.
Certainly do well, Pete. Good on you, mate. Look forward to seeing you in South Australia, mate.
Good on you. Neil Brown joining us, and you can go to his website and have a look at that, the history of greyhound racing, and there's a lot of information there on greyhound racing, not only in WA, but right the way around Australia and New Zealand. Make sure you tuned in this Friday afternoon. If you missed the Tab Touch Greyhound Jet Set last week, well, you'd be poorer in the pocket, because David Short and Shane Train Williams, they were on fire with their selections, and you can jump on the flight around the country sourcing winners and the latest news on the big two meetings in WA this Friday. The meetings from the Meadows and Wentworth Park, of course, the East Coast experts, Jason Campbell and Corey Smith, they'll be with the boys again, so you can catch the latest edition of the Tab Touch Greyhound Jet Set from this Friday. It'll be dropping on your podcast platform. Greyhound racing today coming in from Northam. Don't forget the Northam nominations for Thursday have been extended until 9:45 this morning. And the Greyhound racing today from Northam, and then tomorrow at Mandurah. That is Greyhound Gossip for this Monday morning. Hopefully you enjoy your week and back plenty of winners. We'll take a break and then off and pacing with Leah Ernest after this.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.